Who's in this week's business file? We have Mr. Sonam Dorji, the Executive Director of the Association of Business Tour Operators. So, since 2000s, what are the activities carried out by ABTO?
First and foremost, I think I'd like to thank you, Mr. Ashok, and the BPS for giving us the opportunity. Before getting into the activities, if I tell a little bit on what ABTO is, the Association of Business Tour Operators. It is one of the first association being established back then, before even the CSO Act was enacted. It represents the tour operators, the collective interests of the tour operators, and is the collective and official voice of the tour operators in the country. And as an association, it is a voluntary-based association, and being the oldest, I think we have been looked upon as an example by the other associations. The need for an association back then, I think with the liberalization of the tour operation license, as you all know, until 1991, the tour operations was totally conducted by the government. The infrastructures were totally owned by the government. And since 1991, it was privatized, and the Tourism Authority of Bhutan was established. Although privatized, only 33 licenses were issued. And in 1998, it was liberalized. So any Bhutanese who wants to be in the tourism business can opt for a license. In 1998, when it was liberalized, there were, I think, more than about 60, 70 applicants. And the number of tour operators, number of people coming into the tourism business was growing. And then that's where a need was felt that we need to have a representative body of the tour operators. And also because even for the government counterpart then was Department of Tourism, restructured from the Tourism Authority of Bhutan in 1998. And they also felt that there was a need to have a association representing the tour operators, so that it becomes easier for them to deal with the representative body rather than with over 100 tour operators then. So that's why the associations need. And also because the Department of Tourism then felt it was required, the tour operators then also felt required. That's how the association was formed.
You also mentioned that it is based on volunteer basis.
Yes.
How does it work?
Well, any tour operation license holder, tour operation business, let's say the tour operator, it's up to them whether they want to be part of the association or not. That's why I'm saying it's voluntary basis. The membership is open for all.
So if they choose not to be a member of ABTO within the ABTO group, they don't have to pay the membership fees?
Yes. So basically, I think the membership is not just about membership with the association, with the ABTO, is not just about the membership fee per se. It's about how you can, being in this business, how you can collectively maximize by being part of the association.
How do you do that?
Well, basically by actively engaging in the association's activities, whereby the association looking at the general benefit or the issues which affect the majority takes up with the concerned government agencies. That's how we try to resolve in terms of their business environment, in terms of the way they function their business, so that they can optimize their business operations.
You mean your ABTO will literally act like a bridge between the government and the Association of Tour Operators?
As an association, yes, we can say that we are a lobby group because we represent the tour operators. And yes, and for the government also, it becomes easier to consult with the association rather than as of now, maybe over 800 tour operators. So one entity, that's one thing. Second thing is we try to represent the issues and the constraints faced by the majority of our members. And yes, that way, it acts like a bridge between the government and the private sector in the tourism. As of now, almost 99% of all tour operators who are operating are members of ABTO.
So when you are leaving it up to on a volunteer basis for the membership, now that another question arises. how do you raise fund? What are the sources of fund for ABTO?
Like I mentioned just now, I think 99% of all operating tour operators are members of ABTO. I guess they are members of ABTO because they are reaping the benefit of membership. One. Two is our activity is such that we aim for the benefit of the members. The services, we try to come up with the services which benefits the majority of the tour operators. So over the years, when I come to the activities, I'll explain. I think members, no doubt, feels that there is a benefit being part of the ABTO fraternity.
So how do you mobilize resources, the fund to run this office?
Well, initially, we used to have a fund called Tourism Development Fund, which was jointly operated between the ABTO and the Tourism Council of Bhutan until 2010. So most of our secretariat's recurrent costs used to be met from that fund. And since 2010, now that fund has been done away. And with the doing away with the fund, we have divided the balance amount, which was generated till 2010 June, between the Tourism Council and ABTO. So we got our share of capital seed fund, let's say. Through that, we have deposited in a fixed account, whereby we generate interest to run the recurrent costs or meet the overhead costs of the secretariat. That's one thing. The second one is that we have this thing called, now just recently, we have instituted a membership fee, which is based on per tourist handle by a member. So that comes to approximately about 140 niltram per tourist, which is about $3 we have calculated.
So the individual tour operators will come and deposit the money, or how is it arranged?
Based on the statistics, the arrival records maintained by the Tourism Council of Bhutan, which they share with us. So based on that, we generate an invoice, and the invoice has been sent to the individual tour operators that you have operated or handled so many tourists for this period, quarter of a year, let's say, and this is the amount. So what they do is they can either, we either send somebody to collect, they can either come to the office, or they can directly deposit in the bank account. And this membership fee that they contribute to us is tax deductible, because we being a registered civil society organization, any membership fee in any form is considered as tax deductible.
Now the other thing is licensing fees. Over the years, it used to be very expensive in the past, around 25,000 niltram. Now we have brought it down. Was that an effort of ABTO?
So that is one of the some of the few activities that what we have done. Back then, I think until 2007, the licensing fee, the license renewal fee, let's say, was 25,000 niltram. And even back then, I think even a Class A contractor, which is basically a huge scale firm, used to pay only about 8,000 niltram per year in terms of renewal fee. So ours was very high. So the members have raised issue on the fee. So we brought up and tabled with the government, that time Ministry of Trade and Industry, and they agreed, and then we compromised at 12,000 per year, and that's what it is even now.
So 12,000, I think it's still expensive. Some feel so, comparing with other business licensing.
Really depends, because if you really look at, there's a huge difference between other business and tourism business. Tour operation business, basically, as a tour operator, basically what you do is you package the different services provided by different service providers in the industry. So basically, you package the transport, the hotels, the meals, the attractions, the guide, and then they sell that. That's how it is in tour operation business. Whereas in other business, I think they require minimum investment. If it is a transport, you need to buy cars. If it is a construction, you need to buy machineries. So in tour operation, basically what you do is you package. So there's a minimal investment, initial investment. As you grow, then you build up your own infrastructure. So that way, if you look at it, if you're a really serious player in the industry, I think 12,000 per annum, I think is quite reasonable as of now.
Could you tell us how is that USD 250 is divided among different stakeholders within the industry?
Well, the $250 per night per tourist, that's starting with effect from January this year, 2012. It's just been implemented. Prior to that, it was $200. So now 250, it compromises of, it is an all-inclusive package, basically. It also includes a royalty to the government. From the 250, 10%, which is about $25, goes off as an offshore agent's commission. So basically, an agent which is outside Bhutan who sends the tourists gives that as a commission, $25 per tourist per night. The remaining, which is $225, has to come to Bhutan. That's the net. It has to come, without which the visa will not be processed at all. So this, from the 225, $65 goes to the government as royalty. And from there, again, from the balance, 2% is deducted as TDS. And the remaining money, which then comes to about close to 160 something, are the operational costs given in Niltram to the tour operators. So through that operational costs, the tour operator is supposed to meet the expenses related to the transport, the meals, the museum fee, the horse contractor if it is trekking equipments, guide, accommodation, etc.
So having paid so much of money for as a royalty and some other charges, $160, is that enough?
Based on because right now the current trend is that we have the group size, average group size is about 4, and then average length of stay for a tourist coming to Bhutan is about 7.5 nights. So based on that, if you break up, the government basically, in the form of a royalty, tax deduction at source, and then the BIT, takes approximately about $91 out of that. And then the hotels and restaurants takes about $57 out of the $250. And the allied services, for example, the transport guides, the museums, and if it is the trekking, like maybe the horses, porta ponies, and all those things, they take about $22. And then I think I mentioned about the offshore agents commission, which takes about $25. And the balance, which is approximately about $53, is left with the tour operators after paying up all the services, because 250 is an all-inclusive package. So from the $53, the tour operators has to meet their office overhead costs, marketing expenses, entertainment expenses, and of course the business income tax at the end of the year, which is the balance 28%. And if there's any balance after that, will be the profit of the tour operators.
Is it possible to make a profit? Of course, there are a lot of tour operators who are making profit out of it. And then there is also undercutting going on. Is that within the purview of ABTO?
Basically, I think profit, no doubt there is a profit. There's a profit. And the profit, actually, any business, I think, without a profit, I don't think so people will venture into it. One. Two, I think profit also depends on the size of the business that you do. And in terms of undercutting, well, people do talk about it, but if you go technically, there's no undercutting as such, in the sense that without the minimum deposit, visas will not be endorsed and approved. One. But people do say that they are undercutting. It could be basically in terms of compromising on the services. And this is where I think we also as stakeholders has to play a role in terms of monitoring.
So how do you do it?
The monitoring. Basically now the monitoring has to be hand in hand with the other stakeholders in the industry also. We have various other associations in the industry. we have the Guide Association, we have the Hotel Association, and of course the regulatory body, the Tourism Council of Bhutan. So together, I think we need to come up with a strategy. Not that previously it's been said, and is right now or currently just now we can say that the Tourism Council of Bhutan right now is conducting a monitoring inspection on a regular basis, but they do not have the capacity to go on a full-fledged, let's say, inspection. Why? That's why I think the associations, the stakeholders need to come in. And for us to come in, I think we have been told previously that, okay, there should be a self-monitoring, that you have to also regulate your own membership and so forth. But now we need to have a proper strategy. Saying is one thing, but doing is another thing. So that's why I think just recently, about a month back, we have also instituted a disciplinary committee comprised of various associations and the Tourism Council of Bhutan. So within which I think this disciplinary committee should also come up with a strategy in terms of what self-monitoring means, what is the jurisdiction within each association's memberships are. So that needs to be that needs to be chalked out.
In the last 13 years, what are other achievements apart from revising the licensing fee? What are the other achievements that you can briefly highlight to us?
As an association, like let's say, one of the foremost thing is membership services. And the services includes various. And our primary services is information. Information dissemination. So which we still do, which we still regard as one of the primary activities of the association, so that our members are timely informed. Besides that, I think notable changes that we have brought in the industry was the Visa Online system, which is currently being implemented and being used by the tour operators. Previously, it used to be with about 3 or 4 agencies that we have to run to, and then it has to be in a hard copy, and the follow-up is required. Now it's all online, and that's what ABTO has initiated back in 2005. That is one thing. The other things are, like in terms of information, it is not just about the policy changes and this, that, but there are certain circulars sometimes sent by the government, and what we do is that we analyze it and see the impact before sending out. If there's any constraint in terms of conducting tour operation business, then what we do is we negotiate with the concerned government and do changes. And the other thing is also in terms of policy and regulations, we are in a constant dialogue with the government agencies and see that our interests are protected, the tour operators' interests are protected. Besides that, we have also, back then when we had the Tourism Development Fund, we have also been able to come up with lots of roadside amenities, like for example the toilet facilities in Jamlangang group, Jamlangang basically, in Parodekha, and in Zonmintang in Punakha, Samdingkha in Punakha. Likewise, we have also been able to come up with lots of capacity building trainings. We have, over the years, we have conducted over, I think, 15 various trainings in terms of business skill development, in terms of marketing and packaging, in terms of communication skills, in terms of guiding, practical guiding trainings, etc. So those are some of the things that we have been doing, and currently also we are also we have also initiated a project called low carbon tourism. So whereby we try to minimize the carbon footprint generated by the tourism industry. So right now, currently we are saying we are mapping what is the carbon footprint generated by various players in the industry, like the tour operators, the hoteliers, the guides, the transport, the restaurants. Once we map, we exactly know what is the carbon footprint of the industry, and after that we'll come up with the interventions, how we can reduce the carbon footprint generated by the tourism industry. This is a new initiative that we are doing currently.
Tourism has, of course, become a very important industry when it comes to revenue generation for the economy. And do you think there, from the ABTO's point of view, do you think there is an enabling environment for tourism industry to go further?
Tourism, no doubt, since its inception years, or since the introduction of tourism in 1974, government has always accorded a high priority. And especially since the present government came in from 2008, they have enhanced the support to the industry. And the fact that they have set targets, overall goals, given us, initiated and implemented lots of incentives, fiscal incentives and tax incentives. I think, and also the budgetary support given to the tourism has been doubled or tripled since the new government came into the industry. So we can see that there is a huge priority being accorded in terms of tourism.
We have a peak season and we have lean season. That is because at one point of time, one season of the year, the tourists come into Bhutan. The other season, practically, they have no tourists coming in. So are you going to see change? Are we going to see changes there?
The changes are already happening. In fact, the peaks are still there, but the so-called lean seasons are no more remaining lean seasons. If you look at the statistics, I think there is a lot of tourists coming even during the lean season. For example, right now in December, we have, I think, approximately about 1,000 tourists coming within December, for example. So you can see there is changes, but the peaks are still there. And one of the strategies, I think, of the Tourism Council of Bhutan is to make Bhutan a year-long destination. So, which I think they have been discussing with us also, and we have been also giving in feedback, but feedback on how to resolve these issues. Basically opening up new places, coming up with new products and packages in the places less visited by the tourists. So, but I think we still need to do a lot on this.
So, which means you are also going to open in some of the places in southern belts.
Basically, I think.
Are you proposing that?
Yeah. Basically, I think one of the things that we have done about 2 years back, together with the Tourism Council of Bhutan, is to come up with a negative places. Basically, identifying places where tourists are not allowed to go. As per that list, almost all of Bhutan we can go. Tourists is accessible. So even the southern belt, tourists are allowed to go. The only thing is that we need to now build up infrastructure there. We need to come up with the activities there. So this is ongoing process, and I think it will take some time before it comes up.
So what are the activities that will be undertaken during the lean season?
There is the lean season, of course. The western region dominates one, and the spring and the fall season, which is the autumn season, dominates in terms of number of arrivals. So besides opening up new places and coming with the products, packages and infrastructure in those areas, the Tourism Council of Bhutan, together with the stakeholders, is also looking at building up tourism circuits. So basically, now for example, Bumtang is quite popular as a tourist destination. So what they try to do is that taking Bumtang as a main center, trying to promote the periphery areas, Trongsa and Shemkang, as a shoulder destination. Likewise, in the east, trying to club together Tashkang, Mongar, Yangtze together. So those are the circuits, and also in the south, like with the Manas, periphery of Manas region. So those are the circuits they're doing. Besides that, also, I think from the fiscal perspective, we have also reduced the lean season rate. The 250 is for the peak season months, and the 200 for the lean season months is only $200 per night. So those are the fiscal incentives that we are giving to attract more tourists during the lean seasons.
So what has been the performance of tourism industry in 2012?
I think this year, I think overall compared to 2011, I think it's been a good year. And we don't know right now because the compilation is done by the Tourism Council of Bhutan. But from the feedback that we get from the members, I think overall, I think it's been a good year.
So on that note, I'd like to thank you very much for your time. And for those who are watching this program, this has been a business file with the Executive Director of Association of Business Store Operators. I'm your host Ashok Tirwa. Do join us every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. This is goodbye.